Are you holding yourself hostage or blaming yourself for mistakes that you made in the past? Are you having a hard time forgiving yourself for things you said, things you did that still kind of make you cringe? Is there that internal feeling of, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, said that, and as a result, I could never forgive myself for that? Is that happen to you? Do you have that inner dialogue going on? If so, today is for you, my friend. Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. For women, great at saying yes to others, not always as great at saying yes to themselves. I am Claudia Braun. I'm a mindset, lifestyle, I'm an EFT coach for women ready to start saying yes to themselves. And if you haven't said yes to yourself for a Say Yes to You one-to-one discovery call with me so that you could really find out what are the patterns in your way and what does stop you from saying yes to yourself, because you know in your heart of hearts that you need to be saying yes to yourself, but you're not, and you're not sure what it is that keeps derailing you. That's the reason to do a one-to-one consult, and it really is an opportunity to get to know yourself more and to be able to start to make decisions that feel more in alignment with who you want to be and know yourself to truly be. So do take advantage of that offering, and the link is in the show notes. So let's talk about this idea of you holding yourself hostage, not forgiving yourself for past mistakes, things you did, things you said, things how you were. I had the opportunity to be at a celebration of life service on Saturday for someone who I had been very good friends with, and she transitioned a few months ago, and I saw some people that I hadn't seen in a very long time. And it was so good to see them, but I was reminded of some of the things I had done at that time. And I remember saying to one of the women who was there, I was like, oh my God, those stupid things I did. And she was like, yeah. And I've had the opportunity to reflect on that time and to think about who I was and the choices I was making. And I thought, oh my gosh, that time deserves forgiveness. And so you, my friend, you and your life, where do you look back on situations that happened, conversations you had, experiences you had, shenanigans you got yourself into, and maybe there were repercussions to those experiences, words, shenanigans, and maybe in your heart, secretly, you still don't forgive yourself. So know that there's a cost to yourself for harboring those ill feelings, for harboring that pain, that anger, that remorse. And it causes a internal feeling of unrest. Something's not right. Maybe you hold it as a way you don't want people to know about that. And so you protect it. And when that's going on, there is an energy within yourself that's being drained from you, and not as a result allowing yourself to have full access to yourself. I know any time that I have held myself in those harsh experiences or seen myself as doing something wrong or being angry at myself, how draining that is. And when I get to that place of true forgiveness, how freeing it is. And so if you have had decades of holding on to something, perhaps somebody did something to you and as a result you retaliated, or maybe you even initiated words or experiences and you cringe when you think about that time. this is the opportunity now to really reflect and to take stock as to what happened and view it accurately. And what that means is when you really view something accurately, you see it with loving eyes. You release the judgment. You release the anger. And you start to see it from a wider viewpoint. Whenever I'm talking to a client, they always say, I would never say this about one of my good friends, the things that I say about myself. And I can only imagine that the way you're holding yourself is in a way you would never hold a dear friend. And so now is the time, as life is moving so quickly and the world is, many things are heating up, changes are happening. It's such an opportunity for you, my friend, each one of us, to really give yourself the permission to look at things accurately, to step back from the pain, to step back from the anger, the judgment, the lack of forgiveness, and truly begin to see it rightly. And when you see things rightly, you have more compassion and more love. So if you don't know the Hooponopono prayer of forgiveness, that is a beautiful place to start. And the way it goes is you say, I'm sorry. You say that to yourself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you keep repeating that to yourself. And you keep repeating it until you start to feel some kind of shift. It's very powerful. It's not the only way, but it's a beginning to a new way. And that's what you're wanting here, is you're wanting a new way. Because when you are not forgiving yourself, holding yourself like you've done a crime, in a vice, tight, small, you keep yourself from truly being able to fly and be the person that you are here to be, that your community needs you to be, that your family needs you to be, that you need yourself to be. And know that if you could have done better, you would have done better. And so it's very easy to kind of look back with the knowledge that you have and kind of look back on your younger self and think, God, what was wrong with you, and feel a lot of judgment, but you've learned a lot of things along the way. And know that she at that time was acting out of who she was and what she knew in that world at that time. She didn't have the knowledge that you have now. And so being able to look back and that younger sense of you with more love, compassion, kindness actually changes that past experience. It softens you. It no longer holds you in a vice. It no longer keeps you from feeling the true grace, freedom that you deserve. Giving yourself permission to look at this allows you to do something different. Because all these things that you hold against yourself, push down, don't want to look at, think it was too painful. I've heard people say, it was bad enough to go through it the first time, don't want to go through it again by looking at it. That's not accurate. That thinking is not accurate. You look at it so you can make peace with it. You look at it so you can see it more accurately. Because it's very easy to feel unkind to yourself, to feel unforgiving and feel that justification in doing that. But actually, being unforgiving to yourself is not accurate, and it serves nothing, no one. And maybe you think, well, I can't just let myself off the hook. Maybe you think that about other people too. But it's not just letting yourself off the hook. It's letting yourself off the hook of suffering. Because that's what you do, is you suffer when you hold yourself in that pain of what happened and you think you should, quote unquote, have done something different. Again, reminding yourself, if you could have done something different, you would have. You did the best you could at that time. And maybe your mind says it wasn't good enough. Know that that is a judgment. If your mind says it wasn't good enough, that's a judgment. And your judgment will only keep you stuck. That's what the egoic mind, the judging mind, wants you to do, is stay stuck. And this is why I offered a one-to-one say yes to you earlier on in our time together, because I know how easy these subtleties are in the mind, and they just keep you stuck. They keep you from moving forward because you start believing the lies because you've been saying them to yourself for so long, you think they're true. And so you make them true. But just because you've been repeating something for so long doesn't make it right. It's like the emperor has no clothes. Until somebody saw something different couldn't be done. And that's what happens. And that's why it's so valuable to get support, to get someone who knows how to work with your mind in a way that keeps you free of those past ideas. You become so used to these past ideas, you don't even know they're past ideas. It's like constantly running your life by looking in the rearview mirror. You're not going to get very far forward. You're going to end up going backwards. And that's not why you're here. You deserve to claim your movement forward. And it means being able to come to peace inside yourself. Let go of these past things that you hold against yourself. You can't let them go until you look at them. And what I know is that those things thrive by not being looked at. When your mind says too scary to look at, close the door on it. It's like it's buried alive. It's still knocking on the door, and it's still affecting you, whether you know it or not. So I invite you today, this week, really contemplate, where are you holding yourself hostage from things you did, things you said, things you wish you didn't do, things you're embarrassed about, you feel shame about, something you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't told anybody this. And there are many times I've sat in coaching sessions with people and they've said to me, I've never told anybody this. I get it. It's hard to reveal these things, but until you do reveal them, they do not change. And so it is essential to begin this process of uncovering to yourself so you can reclaim yourself and really step into your own brilliance, your own ability to feel at peace. You sleep better, your digestion's better, your breathing's better, everything's better. You're not so anxious, you're not so overwhelmed. Part of the anxiety, the worry, is about carrying this stuff from the past and keep revving it up. Keep regurgitating it. Who could feel peace when that's going on? Nobody can. And you don't have to, nor should you. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve your judgment. You deserve your kindness. Like I said, that's why the Hooponopono prayer is so lovely as a way to start. I know that it doesn't always solve everything, but it is a good beginning. And it's a beginning of seeing that you can see this differently. I also, from experience, know the value of bringing somebody in on this, because it's very easy to keep your mind going in the same direction and not shift it. You've programmed yourself, and when you've programmed yourself, it's very hard to unprogram yourself, which is why it's so valuable to bring in a coach, somebody who has tools that you don't have. I know that when I am trimming a piece, when I'm working in pottery, when you don't have the right tool, things don't go as well. And it's the same thing with your mind. When you don't have the right tools, it's hard to make any difference. It's hard for things to change, and it's why you might feel like you've been trying to change or trying to shift your thinking or trying to prioritize yourself for a long time, but it doesn't change. It's not that there's something wrong with you. You're not remedial. It's not impossible for you to change. You need support. We all do. We're not meant to do this alone. We are not meant to do this alone. And I know that that has fueled my coaching practice, because I know how valuable it was for me when I was shifting in my life to have a lot of support, a lot of people helping me see rightly, because my seeing was not accurate. I remember the first person I worked with, she said, Claudia, you look in a mirror and your reflection is not accurate. And I believe that to be true for you, my friend. You are looking in the mirror and not seeing accurately. I would love to be part of your team in helping you see accurately. Please take advantage of the one-to-one Say Yes to You. I know how valuable it can be in changing your life. Thank you for being with me today on Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. For women, great. It's saying yes to others. Not always is great. It's saying yes to themselves. I am Claudia Braun, mindset, lifestyle, and EFT coach for women ready to start saying yes to themselves. I wish you a wonderful week, and I will look forward to being with you next week. Bye for now.